Hey, welcome to Cow Free Kicks. On this channel I review the free sneakers only, and today's video is all about a new drop from Nike. It is the Nike React Live. Very excited to kick off this review of the Nike React Lives, but before I do, I'll just remind you, and for anyone that's new, I always look into 5 things when I review a pair of sneakers. At the end of the video, I'll then give these Nike React Lives an overall rating out of 5 stars. If you like what you see as you're going along, please do not forget to click the little thumbs up like button below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, show some support. It is greatly appreciated. Let's kick the review off then by checking these Nike React Lives out on feet. First impressions of the Nike React Live are good. I think they look good in hand and on feet. They are from the Nike 354 Lab. You can see it written on the box there, and it's also just labeled here and branded on the toe box area. It's an experimental Nike lab, so they make their sneakers a little bit different. They're a little bit more out there. They do have things on them that you wouldn't normally find on other shoes. With this shoe, the main feature for me and with every React is the incredible React midsole. You can see here it's huge, very chunky midsole, and it's actually encased in the rubber that you get on the sole unit, and it actually rides up on the rest of the midfoot of the shoe and completely encases the React mid foam unit. Then on top of the shoe, it kind of reminds me of the Nike React Element series as well. It's very pointed and comes pointed towards the toe. Very similar to that series as well are the materials that are used on the upper. So it's fully synthetic textile upper. You've got a plasticky kind of nylon material from the midfoot to the toe box area, and you can see by the grid lines here that it's a ripstop fabric. If you're not aware what ripstop is, it's a fabric that if you get a small tear in it, it should only be contained within one of these boxes, and it shouldn't continue to tear throughout the rest of the shoe. Then you've got the ripstop fabric again that comes more for the textile, and that goes around the heel unit. You go to the back of the shoe, you can see it in more detail there on the back of the heel unit. Some more overlays here, additional overlays on the back of the heel unit as well that encase this heel pull. As you move around to the other side, there's no swoosh branding on the inside of the foot, but you have got the N345 branding on the toe. The lace loop system for this is actually a lace itself, so it's a round lace that runs all the way around and is encased in stitching, goes all the way around the tongue and all the way under the heel and creates the heel pull at the back. There's another lace heel pull at the front on the tongue. The tongue is very plain, very bland. I'm not a massive fan of tiny swooshes on Nikes. I really don't like this little gold kind of plasticky swoosh on the side. I think the look of it is kind of ruined a little bit by that. I really prefer having a big swoosh on a shoe, and that for me is the real letdown for these looks wise. They come in a number of colorways at the moment. I think with the 354 Lab being in charge of these, the colorways are always going to pop, and I really like all of them. Now I want to move on to their comfort, where I want to put these to the test on my back doorstep. The step test is a really good eye test to see how responsive a midsole is. The foam unit on these Nike React Lives, this React foam unit is so chunky but so responsive and so bouncy from toe to heel. You could see that it was giving in and giving nice bounce back and responsiveness as far as the middle of the toe here, and it's very chunky throughout, and I don't feel that you get any loss of comfort from anywhere on your foot. I feel like the ride is just as comfortable in the heel as it is in the toe box area, and it's just one of my favourite midsoles out there at the moment. I really think the ride that you get underfoot from these is really difficult to rival. It's so comfortable. Then I want to move on to the upper. Now they do feel nice and soft on the upper. Lengthwise, these are an absolute true fit. My feet are an absolute true length size UK 10. So for these, an absolute perfect fit lengthwise, but I do have slightly wider than average feet. The toe box for these is quite narrow. You could just see here that they don't really kind of spray out that much. They've got quite a straight shape to them. I didn't find them uncomfortably narrow, but it is something to consider if you've definitely got quite wide feet, that you might want to go half a size up, because the toe box in these is quite narrow. And also because they're made from a plastic material like this, there's not too much give in them that you would likely find with a fly knit. So just bear that in mind when you are thinking about buying a pair of these. Next, I want to move on to their weight, where I want to pop them on the scales and show you how much they weigh. Great weight, 319 grams for a shoe that has such a chunky React foam unit on it. Again, look at the size of the foam unit you're getting on these. The upper for these must be very lightweight, because there's so much weight in this foam unit that to come in at 319 grams is a very, very good weight. Now I would say a lightweight sneaker is anything under 330. So coming in at 319 is very, very good, especially when you consider the amount of comfort that you get from this very chunky foam unit. Next, I want to move on to their breathability, where I'm going to pump smoke through this upper to see how breathable they are. Much better than I was expecting breathability wise. I first thought that this plastic kind of ripstop fabric that you get on the majority of the shoe wasn't going to offer any breathability. But then the smoke test showed that there are very, very, very small perforations in it that let the smoke escape nicely. It's not the quickest release I've ever seen, and it's not the largest amount, but it did escape nicely from the toe box area and also the middle of the foot here that is covered in this kind of plastic nylon ripstop fabric. Unfortunately, there's a bit of additional TPU overlay on the toe box, so that does limit the amount of smoke that's going to be released from there. And the heavier textile ripstop fabric at the back of the shoe also is going to limit the amount of breathability you're going to get. But still, a nice surprising result and a nice breathable shoe. Now I want to move on to their price. Now these cost me £95. This is kind of more of a budget React shoe for Nike. Most of the Reacts that they do come in at over £100, £110. So pricing these at £95, I think they're trying to make the React foam mid more accessible to more people. And I think that's a good thing. And I think the price is really good for these shoes, especially when you factor in the comfort level underfoot. Now I want to move on to my overall score for the shoe. And I'm going to give these a very, very strong 4.5 stars. I think they do fall down slightly looks wise, because I mean it's personal preference really, but I'm just not a fan of this little gold swoosh. I'd much prefer to have a larger swoosh on there. And also I think breathability wise they could have been a little bit better, but price, comfort and weight I think are all great and 5-star worthy. So 4.5 stars I think is a very, very good score for these. If you do want to leave any comments or have any questions, please do below. And again, if you haven't already, give the video a big thumbs up before you leave and take the time to subscribe. And you can also follow me on Instagram. Hope to see you again soon for another one. Thanks, bye.